What if the thing that makes you feel different is actually the reason you're special? What if the weakness you've been hiding your entire life is creating something beautiful without you even knowing it? Most people spend years wishing they were stronger, faster, smarter, more talented. But today's story is about a horse who spent years feeling ashamed of himself until one surprising discovery changed everything. And trust me, when you hear what happened at the end, you'll never look at your own weaknesses the same way again. In a peaceful countryside village, there lived a farmer named Thomas. Every morning before sunrise, Thomas traveled to a fresh mountain spring to collect water for his farm. The journey was long, the road was rough, and he depended on his 2 horses to help him carry the heavy water barrels back home. One horse was named Storm. Storm was strong, fast, powerful. Everyone in the village admired him. The other horse was named Dusty. Dusty was kind and hardworking. But he had one problem. Several years earlier, Dusty had injured one of his legs. Although he could still walk and work, he could never move as fast as Storm. Because of his limp, the water barrel attached to his side often tilted, and every day, some of the water spilled onto the ground before they reached home. At first, Dusty ignored it, but Storm noticed everything. One morning during their journey home, Storm laughed. "Look at you." Dusty stayed silent. Storm continued. "Half the water on your side is gone again." Dusty lowered his head. "You slow us down every day." The words hurt. But Storm wasn't finished. "If I were you, I'd be embarrassed." From that day on, the teasing became constant. Every trip, every mistake, every spilled drop of water, Storm reminded Dusty how imperfect he was, and slowly, Dusty started believing him. Weeks passed, then months. Every morning, Dusty tried harder. He focused on every step. He pushed himself beyond his limits. But no matter how hard he tried, water still spilled. Nothing changed. The more he failed, the more disappointed he became. One evening, after returning from another exhausting trip, Dusty stood alone beneath a tree. For the first time in years, tears filled his eyes. He felt useless, broken, like a burden. Finally, he walked toward Thomas. There was something he needed to say. "Thomas." The farmer turned and smiled. "Yes, my friend." Dusty hesitated. Then he finally spoke. "I'm sorry." Thomas looked confused. "Sorry for what?" Dusty's voice shook. "For wasting water, for making your work harder, for not being like Storm." The farmer listened quietly. Dusty continued. "Every day I try my best, but my leg isn't strong enough. No matter what I do, I fail." Thomas remained silent for a moment. Then something unexpected happened. He smiled, not because he was amused, not because he didn't care, but because he knew something Dusty didn't. "My friend," Thomas said softly, "tomorrow, pay attention to the road." Dusty frowned. "The road?" Thomas nodded. "Just trust me." And then he walked away. All night long, Dusty wondered what the farmer meant. The next morning arrived. The journey to the spring felt longer than ever. Questions filled Dusty's mind. What was Thomas trying to show him? Had he discovered something? Was he finally going to replace him? The uncertainty was overwhelming. Eventually, they filled the barrels and started heading home. A few minutes later, Thomas spoke. "Dusty." "Yes?" "Today, look carefully beside the road." Dusty glanced downward, and what he saw stopped him in his tracks. Flowers. Thousands of flowers. Bright red, golden yellow, soft purple. They stretched along the entire side of the road. Butterflies danced above them. Later that day, Dusty approached Thomas. The flowers were beautiful. Thomas smiled. They certainly were. Dusty sighed. But I still failed. Thomas shook his head. No, you didn't. Dusty looked confused. What do you mean? The farmer pointed toward the road. Did you notice where the flowers were growing? Dusty thought carefully. Then his eyes widened. They were only on my side. Exactly. A feeling of curiosity rushed through him. But why? Thomas smiled, because he had been waiting years for this moment. Many years ago, Thomas began, I noticed your injured leg. Dusty lowered his head. I know. But I also noticed something else. Dusty listened carefully. Every day, because of your limp, a little water spilled from your barrel. Dusty felt ashamed. But Thomas continued. So I planted flower seeds along your side of the road. Dusty's eyes widened. What? The farmer nodded. Every day while you worried about your weakness, you were watering those seeds. Every day, Dusty stood frozen. Suddenly, everything made sense. The flowers, the colors, the life, the beauty. For years, he believed he was creating a problem. But he had actually been creating something wonderful, without even realizing it. Tears filled Dusty's eyes, but this time they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of understanding. For years, he judged himself because he wasn't perfect. He compared himself to Storm. He focused on everything he couldn't do. But Thomas saw something different. He saw value where Dusty saw weakness. He saw purpose where Dusty saw failure. And because of that, an entire road had become a garden. Storm stood nearby, speechless. For the first time, he understood something too. Being perfect wasn't everything. Sometimes the greatest impact comes from imperfections. Friends, many of us are exactly like Dusty. We compare ourselves to other people. We focus on our flaws, our mistakes, our scars, our failures, and we convince ourselves that we're not enough. But what if your weakness is helping someone in ways you cannot see? What if your struggles are making you stronger, kinder, wiser, more compassionate? What if the thing you're ashamed of today is planting flowers somewhere in your future? The truth is this: you don't have to be perfect to be valuable. You don't have to be flawless to make a difference. Sometimes your greatest gift is hidden inside the very thing you wish you could change. So the next time you feel like you're falling behind, the next time you compare yourself to someone else, remember Dusty, the horse who thought he was a failure, only to discover he had been creating beauty all along. If this story inspired you, comment below. What weakness became my strength? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more life-changing stories. Because sometimes the lesson you need most is hidden where you least expect it.